learning how to play another character, and especially another character that is somewhat similar in terms of like play style and archetype, to Chip has been really good for helping me understand more about this game from different perspectives, right? Like, for a lot of your time you spent playing Guilty Gear or any other fighting game, you're probably like, you say you're going to play Guilty Gear, but you're actually just playing one character in Guilty Gear, right? And it's understandable because one character in this game is so complicated and there's just so much that they can do that, like, it's hard to think about just trying to play multiple characters or switching characters for a little bit without feeling like you're losing focus and you're getting worse with your main character. And that's not how it works. Like, you might take a short-term dip or whatever, but the thing is that every character learns Guilty Gear and teaches you Guilty Gear from a different perspective, right? So, like, as Chip, one of the things that I have to learn to deal with is just like lower health, right? Which means that I need to be more careful about how I take risks, how I go for damage, that kind of thing, right? But one of the things I don't have to think about is how do I deal with big ass buttons? Because if all else fails, I can always teleport through them. And so learning to play Jam and learning how she differs from Chip, right? On one hand, her mix-up tools are not quite as effective. And hey, what up, David? Her mix-up tools aren't quite as effective. She's not going to open you up from getting you to like guess the wrong thing usually. But her pressure is super intimidating and fierce, and so she scares you. She makes you want to press buttons. And so doing stuff like figuring out where her frame traps are, learning to make the most out of a counter hit, right? For Chip, just a hard knockdown is enough, but for Jam, you need the counter hit to be able to get that big damage, right? And so learning how Jam approaches Guilty Gear differently than how Chip approaches Guilty Gear should make me stronger with both characters. And if you remember, I was talking about this a little bit like a week or two ago, but one of the things I've been trying to do with my Chip is restore a little bit of the like aggressive rush down YOLO, right? Like, there's a certain I'd been working on making my Chip a little bit more conservative and a little bit more careful, and that's fun, and that against certain players that's a pretty powerful way to outplay them. And it's just kind of a good kind of stance or position to be able to fall back on, right? Especially if I'm getting a little too called out in my risks, and so I need to learn how to play with low risk. Or maybe I am trying to size up a player that I've never played before, and so playing less risky is one way of kind of giving them room to hang themselves and let me see if I can like poke at them from a relatively safe position. But I was missing the part about Chip that people stress out about, which is his rush down. And so playing Jam has actually helped me get a little bit more aggressive with